Good morning. Hello, I am Janice Alessandra and I am a Bachelor of Secondary Education student with a major in mathematics. So for today's video, we are supposedly conducting a Google Meet interview with one of my friends, Mr. Marlon James Rocaro, but unfortunately, because of the unstable internet connection, we cannot proceed to the Google Meet platform interview. So as an alternative or intervention, I explained to Mr. Rocaro what is the goal of this interview and I provide him the questions and let him video himself. So before the interview started, I suggest and recommend to Mr. Rocaro that he can use any language that he want in answering the different questions so that he can express himself more. So hello Mr. Rocaro, good morning. So here is the first question. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself first?
My name is Marlon James Roquero, 21 years old na. I'm currently living here at Esperanza, Sultan Kudarat. My family background was my father is an Hiligaynon or an Ilonggo. Then my mother is a pure Ilonggo and a pure Hiligaynon. The group I belong is sa Hiligaynon or Ilonggo. Now, the way mahalata mo naman siya the way sa pagistorya ko kay may mga tuno man siya or ano nila ga mayara daw nga accent tinatawag sa English.
So thank you Mr. Rocaro for a little bit background of yourself. So you have said that your family is an Ilonggo. So here is the second question. As an Ilonggo, what is the culture of an Ilonggo? So can you share it or describe or talk about your culture, Mr. Rocaro?
First of all, Hiligaynon is not literally differ to others. May mga pagkakaiba lang the way sa pagistorya, the way nga kami magistorya or the way magistorya ng Bisaya, Tagalog. Sa Ilonggo is our culture was known as the sweetest voice or pinaka-sweet daw nga boses or lambing nga boses na meron sa Pilipinas. Yun ang base sa research ng Google, na research ko sa Google. And also, as for me, my experience sa group ko or paano ka differ ang amon nga no is we are one of a kind. Nag-iisa lang po kami talaga na mga Ilonggo na meron ganitong boses na natural voice kasi in other groups or mga Bisaya bisan unsaon Manila, di ba? Ako mag-istorya ko Bisaya para maintindihan po ninyo. Bisan unsaon man ninyo ka tuon ang among language, mahalata jud na Bisaya kamo or mahalata kamo nga Bisaya kaysa sa mga pure Ilonggo kasi sa amin na pure nga Ilonggo is this is our mother tongue or natural voice nga gagawas sa amon bisan unsa nga amon istoryahon or mag-English man kami, Tagalog or anything nga language basta Ilonggo is magawas gid ang pagka-Ilonggo niya. Then may mga some cases naman nga Ilonggo gani siya pero sa iban siya nagdako like sa Manila or hindi niya nadak-an ang Ilonggo. Then may time gid nga hindi man niya nga magawas gid ang natural voice niya pero as a pure Ilonggo kung nagdako gid ka sa Ilonggo nga group or Ilonggo nga lugar matun-an siya nimo or it's siguro simula gid sa pagkabata nimo ma-develop nimo siya pero pag magtigulang na ka or malam na ka hindi nimo siya siguro ma-develop. As for me nga pagkaintindi ko kasi may mga classmate ako in college na ginatry man siya nga i-pronounce mga Bisaya like ni Lisundra ginatry niya i-pronounce or paano kami mag-istorya hindi gid siya maging angkop or hindi gid siya para sa akong ginaistorya nga natural voice nga tawag.
Since you are living in Sultan Kudarat, what is the mainstream or the dominant culture in your society?
The dominant culture in our society is Ilonggo. O Ilonggo siya. Bisan may mga Bisaya diri, the way kami magistorya sa mga palengke, the way sa eskwelahan, Ilonggo with siya kay that is our mother tongue. Oh, 'di ba? Maga-English man kami pero mahalata gyapon nimong pagka-Ilonggo namon. 'Di ba? May mga classmate kami sa una nga halin pa sa Saudi or halin sa ibang bansa, halin sa mga iban nga lugar pero mambalan sila nga naman daw gakanta kami magistorya kung mag-report kami sa Blackboard daw kanta kami or daw yara daw tuno or accent among pagistorya then I try to explain nga ang amon nga language nga ginagamit is Ilonggo kaya medyo mayroon kaming accent or ginatawag nilang tono sa boses.
So for the last question, Mr. Rocaro, what are the difficulties that you have encountered in adjusting to the mainstream culture? Or you can share any experiences in life that you have experienced to adjust into the mainstream culture of a society.
Sa amon diri hindi man gid kami budlay, di ba? Kay sa ini sa Luzon ra connected sa number 3. Sa amon diri hindi kami nabudlayan kay the dominant culture or language sa among diri nga lugar is Ilonggo, kay mother tongue namon. Then Sultan Kudarat known as one of the biggest or spotted nga mga Ilonggo. Makita natong population sa mga Ilonggo. May mga barkada ko nga mga Bisaya diri, may mga Bisaya man diri nga natun-an nila mag-Ilonggo pero wala sing accent. Natun-an nila mag-Ilonggo, makaintindi sila Ilonggo. Pero yung natural voice na ginatawag ko or the way yung mga tono nga to is hindi nila natutunan or natun-an. Then siguro sa ibang lugar may experience man ko as traveler, minsan naga-cause ng misunderstanding sa amon like sa ibang nga lugar, di ba? Lain-lain man ang pagka sa aton. Sa ila magbaklay, sa amon malakat. Di bang lakat sa ibang lugar lain, di ba? Sa nasa star ko sa Iligan, di ba? Sa Bisaya magpalit, sa amon magbakal. Ang bakal man sa Bisaya kay puthaw, di ba? Puthaw. Sa amon puthaw mot di ko man-an kay way man kami words nga puthaw. Nga siya. Then sa eskwela naman medyo in the first 2 months or 1 month, medyo nabudlayan ko the way sa mag-report kay sometimes hindi nila maintindihan. Then mapugos ko nga mag-istorya sang Tagalog, English, dara lang siya kay as bagwan pud ko sa Iligan, hindi ko kabla magbisaya. Makaintindi lang ko Bisaya pero hindi pud ko nga straight og istorya og Bisaya, makapag-Ilonggo ko. Then amo na sa first 1 month, 2 month, 3 months ginakadlawan ko nila, ginakatawan lang ko nila kay murag daw gakanta ako mag-report, murag daw may tuno akong reporting, pero okay lang sa akon kay as Ilonggo, alam ko sa sarili ko na ganun talaga kami. Then excuse me, sometimes pamangkot ko sa mga classmate ko paano ako mag-report, then ginagaya-gaya nila ako. Then dito ko naiintindihan nga tinuod gali nga may accent kami. Then iban ko nga classmate gapatudlo sa akon kay nami daw ang boses ko. Tapos nung nangakig ko, imbes nga hipo sila, nagkaradlaw sila kay abi nila daw lang ko, puro akig na ko, ambal nila, duga lambing do ko sa ila, amo sinambal nila. Then experience ko din sa the way communication, hindi lang sa Bisaya, maging Tagalog, agtukog Manila, nakapa Manila ko, ginakadlawan ko kaya nga akong pag-istorya, probinsyano daw, halata daw kayo, may tono, may accent naman nila, taga-Iloilo daw ko, pero Sultan Kudarat man to, Iloilo daw, mga Bisaya daw ko, nga mo doon na, pero hindi man kami Bisaya, is Ilonggo man kami, no? Then sa more discussion siguro, matag ko sa imo sa mga for deeper na lang sa Hiligaynon. Ang Hiligaynon is known as this is pues la ko sa ila sweetest known as sa lahat ng language sa Pilipinas. Di ko alam kung ilang language pero kami is one of the kind nga tribo or group nga meron ganitong pagdaway ng mag-istorya. Then I'm proud of it. Kahit sabihin nilang probinsyano ako, sabihin nila nga ingon ako, proud ko sa akong inistoryahan kay amugid ko sini. Nagdako ko nga mo sini. Then hindi ko ikawi ako ano ko. Then for deeper na lang sa Hiligaynon. Ang Hiligaynon is known as this is pues la ko sa ila sweetest known as sa lahat ng language sa Pilipinas. Di ko alam kung ilang language pero kami is one of the kind nga tribo or group nga meron ganitong pagdaway ng mag-istorya. Then I'm proud of it. Kahit sabihin nilang probinsyano ako, sabihin nila nga ingon ako, proud ko sa akong inistoryahan kay amugid ko sini. Nagdako ko nga mo sini. Then hindi ko ikawi ako ano ko. Then Hiligaynon is I think is the oldest lang language sang Ilonggo. Ilonggo is the modern, kaya para sa akong modern ko Ilonggo. May mga words na ko nga hindi na nga maintindihan man nga lalom sa mga Hiligaynon. Para sa Maranao and Maguindanao, di ba? Maranao is the old nga sang Muslim, then Maguindanao is the new. Para lang na siya. Then sa Hiligaynon or Ilonggo is Hiligaynon is the deeper or the deeper nga Ilonggo gid siya. Yung mga lalom na gid nga mga Ilonggo, it's called mga Hiligaynon jud siya. Then sa Ilonggo naman para sa akon is mga mabaw na lang nga Ilonggo, like natural accent na lang naman ako. Ang mga ibang nga words di ko na maintindihan. Kay modern naman damo na nga language nga na ano nahon. Naka-speak na kog different types of language, English, Tagalog, Bisaya, Cebuano, Ilonggo. Then hindi na siya makita mo na lang sa sakon nga Ilonggo ko as may accent. Hindi na siya sa the way ko magstorya pa or ay straight na ko magstorya Ilonggo. Maghalo-halo na gid siya dahil the more you learn the language, the more you use it or magagamit mo yung mga language na tututunan mo. Then my advice is sa akon lang is ano na lang gid siya, kung pure or Ilonggo nga mga modern is sa accent na lang gid siya magbase. Dira mo na lang mamanan nga Ilonggo ang isa ka tawo sa accent niya. Then that's it for today the discussion. Then thank you for giving a chance Janice Lisondra nga saligan sa interview nga ni. Then I hope makapasa ka. And good luck.
We are not strangers to diversity. Globalization is nothing new to us because as we open and close our eyes all the time, we live in a multicultural, globalized world. And as a student, we can help and make a difference as well as contribute significantly in making the world a better place. Many of my previous teachers before from my different subjects where our topic was intertwined with this activity about culture. So I remember our Phil 101, I remember our JEC 103, I remember our ethics. So it was a wonderful feeling indeed that we can reflect on those experiences and also learning into this activity. So Mr. Roquero has shared the Ilonggo culture. He has shared the difficulties, and yes, it is true that if we cannot understand someone's identity, it will truly result into misunderstanding. So Mr. Roquero is one of my classmates before, way back in 2019 when I was at St. Peter's College. And Mr. Roquero came from Sultan Kudarat and he attended his college years in Iligan City, specifically in St. Peter's College. So that is how we met and became friends. So speaking of culture, the question of how can we help those people who have different culture, particularly those people who have difficulty in adjusting to the mainstream culture. So let me share my ideas on how we can help them, and I like to back up my ideas with my own experience. So first and foremost is we must understand them. So as a student, we can help them if we can understand them. So we must understand that we cannot avoid having a classmate who is significantly different from us. Understanding someone's culture is sometimes difficult because we didn't only focus solely into one aspect of that person. So culture is more than just a language he speaks. It encompasses a wide range of variety. It includes their attitude and their perspectives. So Mr. Roquero find it too difficult to communicate with us because sometimes it resulted into misunderstanding. So in order to build a good relationship with Mr. Roquero, I need first is to understand his ways and his culture. So occasionally we have chika about his culture, and after a year of being together, I still admit that we still have difficulties and some misunderstanding, but the most important thing is we adjust He adjusts and we adjust, and as a result, we build a good relationship by first understanding someone's identity. So it is very important that as a student, we can help them by making them feel that we understand them so that they can understand us also. So second, as a student, we can assist or help them by demonstrating that we respect their culture. So it is important to show respect from others, regardless of who or what they are, is one of the most important attitude that we must have. So respecting individual differences is a major step towards achieving a better society. And as a student, if we encounter or interact with someone who is different from us, we should not disrespect them, but rather understand and respect them for who they are, is what they are as a human being. So I wanted to share our Phil 101 teacher told us, so as a student guys, we must see the culture or our own culture and the culture of others as a cultural relativist and not as an ethnocentric. And we must always remember that there is no superior culture and there is no inferior race. So we must have the ability to understand a culture and not to make judgments using the standards of one's own culture. So it is very important that we must respect each individual's differences. So the third one, as a student, we can help them by knowing our limitations. It is indeed important that we understand the word we will use. So words can be excruciating at times. So we must be careful on each words that we will using in communicating with other people who have different culture, because sometimes there are some instances that we might offend them because we surpass the what we call limitations. So lastly, as a student, how can we help those people who have difficulties in adjusting to the mainstream culture? So as a student, we can help them by giving them the sense of belonging. So if a person is facing a difficulty in adjusting to the mainstream culture, we students must assist them by giving them the sense that they are part of the society regardless of their culture. So just like Mr. Rocaro, so we will use the Filipino language or we will use the English language just for him to understand us and just for us to understand him. As a student, we play an important role. Understanding, respecting, knowing our limitations, and giving them the sense of belonging are just a few help that we can provide to those people who have faced difficulties in adjusting to the mainstream culture. Helping one another and being aware of our own identity is very important. Be proud of who you are, be proud of your own culture, and in a nutshell, be a noble savage. So this is Janice Alessandra from the Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Mathematics. Thank you.